Welcome to the One of a Kind Financial Show Daily. I'm Mike Milligan, certified financial planning professional, and this is day 3 of the U.S. Debt Clock series that I have put together. If day 1 and day 2 made you uncomfortable, buckle up, because today we're talking about the number on the debt clock that almost nobody in Washington will discuss openly, and it dwarfs the national debt. If the $39 trillion of national debt concerns you, and it should, I need you to understand something. That number is only part of the story, and honestly, it's the smaller part. The federal government has made promises, massive promises, through Social Security, Medicare, prescription drugs programs. Your government has committed to future payments that far exceed its projected ability to pay. These are called unfunded liabilities, and the U.S. debt clock tracks them in real time. Over a 75-year horizon, Social Security faces a shortfall of approximately $27.9 trillion. It's expected to collect $92.4 trillion in payroll taxes, but owes $130 trillion in benefits. That's a $28 trillion gap. Medicare's hole is even larger, roughly $60.4 trillion, with projected cost of $115.6 trillion against revenue of just $55 trillion. Combine that 75-year shortfall, and that exceeds $88 trillion of shortfall or unfunded liabilities. But here's where it gets truly staggering. On what economists call an infinite horizon basis, measuring all future obligations, not just the next 75 years, the combined gap reaches $139.6 trillion. Let me say that again. $139.6 trillion in promises made, but with no plan to fund them. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mike, these are government numbers. What does this have to do with me? Everything. Here's why. The Social Security Trust Fund is projected to be exhausted by the early 2030s. That's not 50 years from now. That's about 7 or 8 years from now. When the fund runs dry, unless Congress acts, benefits would automatically be reduced by about 23%. Just cut overnight. Ed Slott, who many call America's IRA expert, puts it this way. Your IRA is an IOU to the IRS. Every dollar sitting in a traditional pre-tax retirement account, your 401k, your traditional IRA, is money the government has a future claim on. The only question is what tax rate they'll charge you when you take it out. And with $193 trillion in unfunded obligations staring them in the face, do you think rates are going up or down? Tom Hegna, who's given over 5,000 retirement seminars, says that the national debt isn't even the scariest number. He says the scariest number is the over $225 trillion of unfunded obligations. He uses a broader measure, but the point is the same. The promises are massive and the money isn't there. You know what's wild? The founders saw this coming. Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1816, over 200 years ago, the principle of spending money to be paid by posterity under the name of funding is but swindling the future on a large scale. Swindling the future. Think about that phrase. He was describing exactly what unfunded liabilities are. Promises made today that will be paid by people who haven't voted on them yet. Your children, your grandchildren. Jefferson also wrote that he believed the earth belongs to the living and that no generation has the right to bind the next with debt. Well, we've bound them to the tune of $193 trillion. So here's the planning takeaway, and this is straight from the book that will be published. If you're counting on Social Security looking exactly the way it does today when you retire, you need a backup plan. Mary Beth Franklin, the nation's leading Social Security strategist, warns that Congress will probably act, but likely at the last possible moment. And whatever fix they implement will almost certainly involve some combination of higher taxes, means testing, raised retirement ages, or reduced benefits. David McKnight says this is why you need to shift your money from tax-deferred buckets to tax-free buckets. Roth IRAs and properly structured life insurance. While rates are still historically low, he calls it the tax sell of a lifetime, unquote. Because when the government comes looking for revenue to fill the $193 trillion hole, they're going to look at the biggest pile of untaxed money in America, traditional retirement accounts. Your 401k, your IRA. That's the piggy bank, and the IRS and the federal government is going to come crack it wide open. This is why I wrote this book. This is why you need to understand the debt clock. These aren't abstract numbers. They are forces that will determine what your retirement actually looks like. Tomorrow on day 4, we're going to look at the American balance sheet, millionaires, poverty, the wealth gap, and the disappearing cost of the American dream. Go to usdebtclock.org and find the Unfunded Liabilities section. See it for yourself. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Ideas by Mike and at Money Mike Unmuted. And I'll see you tomorrow. This has been Mike Billigan for the One of a Kind Financial Show Daily. Mike is an investment advisory representative with Advisory Alpha LLC. Ideas by Mike doing business as One Oak Financial is an unaffiliated entity of Advisory Alpha LLC. All content of the One of a Kind Financial Show Daily is for education and informational purposes only. Please consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment, retirement, or tax strategy changes. See you tomorrow.